Welcome, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. So, let's make sure we are in the right place. Okay, here we are. We might as well start here. It starts at a good place. And I was reflecting on the material that ends the book of Numbers. And if I were to ask you, what do you think the central theme of the book of Numbers is? If you were to pick one theme from the book of Numbers that really stands out, what would you say it was? Does anybody want to answer that before I answer this rabbinic question? Mead, what would you want to say? Okay, I'll tell you what I think it is. It's the fact that the Israelites had to wander in the desert for 40 years, that none of them actually reached the promised land, and that they were, because of their faithlessness and their lack of trust in God, they did not enter the land of Israel, except for Joshua and Caleb. So that, to my mind, is sort of, if I were to pick out one theme of the book of Numbers, that's the theme. And it's so interesting that as we saw lost in the last few sessions, that the book of Numbers ends with the boundaries of the land of Israel. Masai deals with the wanderings, but then it moves on to the boundaries of the land of Israel. Here we're going to talk about the distribution of the land of Israel to the Jewish people, and we're going to also talk about the 6 cities of refuge, again, to do with the distribution of the land, and interestingly enough, to do with the situation of manslaughter. And then we also bring up the distribution of the laws of inheritance with the daughter of Tzlov once again. And so interesting to me that the book of Numbers ends with all these issues having to do with entering the land of Israel. So that in a way, underneath it, again, looking at it from a literary point of view, the book wants to end on a positive note, saying, in a sense, it may be that that generation didn't make it, but they're going to get the land. Ultimately, they are. And not only that, the little part that has to do with the cities of refuge, how, here's terrible things that happen, essentially through negligence or by accident, and there's a way to deal with it. And there's a response to that as well. So there's something, to my mind, just very touching about the way the book of Numbers ends, given the fact that after Parshat Behalocha, essentially everything goes downhill. And here we have a little bit of hope, a glimmer of light, maybe more than a glimmer. Maybe we have a bright light that comes at the end of this book. And I've never thought about it like that before, and I wanted to share that with you. So, we're going to be talking about the distribution of the land. Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe lemor, so the Lord spoke to Moses to say, Ele shmota anashim, these are the names of the men asher yinchalu lachem et haaretz, who will inherit for you the land. This yinchalu, we discussed it in previous section, but let me just finish. Elazar Kohen, Elazar the priest, he's the high priest at the time, Yoshua ben Nun, and Joshua son of Nun, and of course Joshua would be the secular leader of the Jewish people after Moses' demise. So we're going to go on with the list. We'll see how each tribe has their chieftain who just divides the land. And just to review quickly what Rashi says, is this doesn't say Yadchilu lahem. That would be a hifel, causative, right? Who will cause you to inherit. That's not the understanding. In other words, it's as if they receive the land on behalf of the tribes and the tribal families that they're going to give to, that they're going to have as their ancestral allocation. So mentioning the names of them now. So Nasi Echad Mimateh, a single prince from each tribe. Tikhu, you shall take. You, in this case, of course, it means you will invite. Then Chol Haaretz, to divide up the land. Rashi, linchol et haaretz, sheyehei notel v'cholek ota bimkomchem, right? That who will come and take and divide it in your place. Right. So there's, I think, sort of a couple of implications about that, right? In your place, in other words, who will take your place to inherit and then hand it to you, give it to you. And bimkomchem can also mean in your allotment, in the place that you are going to inherit, that specific place. And we're going to go ahead now and see okay. Ve'ele shmota anashim, these are the actual names of these men. Lemate Yehuda, for the tribe of Judah, Kalev ben Yefuneh, Kalev son of Yefuneh. We are familiar with this gentleman. Lemake b'nei Shimon, for the tribe of the children of Shimon, Shmuel ben Amihud, Shmuel the son of Amihud. I just want to note that the order of tribes here is a little bit different from any other order of tribes that we see when the tribes are listed, and for reasons. Lemate Binyamin, look at this. Here's Benjamin, the youngest of the brothers. For the tribe of Benjamin, Elidad ben Kislon, the son of Elidan, the son of Kislon. Now, it's interesting as I'm looking at these three tribes, we see, first of all, that Benjamin associated with Judah, and we have within the stories of Genesis the understanding as to why Benjamin, ultimately that tribe, is aligned with Judah as opposed to the 10 northern tribes who separated after King Solomon and separated themselves to the two nations of the 10 tribes of Israel and Judah. Judah had Benjamin alongside of them, the tribe of Benjamin. And of course, it had to do with how Judah was willing to enter enslavement to Joseph, the place of Benjamin. So I think that's sort of a little bit of a literary background. Now, how about Shimon? What's interesting about Shimon is Shimon gets absorbed eventually and is no longer mentioned as a separate tribe. And I think what this is telling us is that Shimon, this tribe loses its identity and becomes absorbed into the southern tribes of Judah and Benjamin going on. So I think that's sort of very significant in terms of, the way the tribes are actually mentioned here. Lemate b'nei Dan, for the tribe of the children of Dan, Nasi, a chieftain, Buki ben Yogli, that's his name. Livnei Yosef, Joseph, Lemate b'nei Menashe, right? Remember, Joseph was a double tribe, so the tribe of Menashe, Nasi Chaniel ben Ephod, the chieftain Chaniel, son of Ephod. Ulamate b'nei Ephraim Nasi, again, so Menashe and Ephraim, and for the tribe of the children of Ephraim, Kemuel ben Shiftam, that's his name, Kemuel ben Shiftam. Ulamate b'nei Zevulun Nasi, and a chieftain for the tribe of the descendants of Zebulun, Elitzaphan ben Parnach. Ulamate b'nei Yisachar, and for the children of the tribe of Issachar, the chieftain Paltiel ben Azan, Ulamate b'nei Asher, and for the children of the tribe of Asher, their chieftain Achihud ben Shlomi, Achihud son of Shlomi. Ulamate b'nei Naphtali, Nasi, and for the children of the tribe of Naphtali, their chieftain Pedahel ben Amihud, Ela asher tziva Hashem lenachel et bnei Sachar be'eretz Canaan, bnei Israel, be'eretz Canaan. These are those who the Lord chose to distribute the children of Israel in the land of Egypt, to cause them to distribute their inheritance. Lenachel et bnei Israel, Rashi here, shehem yanchilu ota lahem, that is to say that they should, inherit them as a transitive verb, I suppose, right? Cause them to inherit, and into its divisions. That is, of course, the territory of a tribe was divided up into each of the families and what their ancestral location the ancestral territory would be. Okay, going on now. Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe ba'arvot Moav, and the Lord spoke to Moses in the plains of Moab, al Yarden Yericho, near the Jordan and the city of Jericho, Lamor, to say, Tzav et Bnei Israel, command the children of Israel, v'natnu laleviim minachalat achuzatam, that they should give to the Levites from their portion, from their ancestral portion, their inherited portion, arim lashavet, cities in which to dwell, because the Levites never were given an apportionment in the land of Israel the way the rest of the tribes are given. Right? Umigrash, and the open space, va'arim, for the cities, svivotahem, all around them. Come back to the Rashi on this in a minute. Sheni'u la'leviim, you shall give that to the Levites. See all got. Umigrash. So this word migrash, revach makom chalak, it is a wide space of an empty area, chutz la'ir, outside of the city, saviv, all around, liyot, in other words, lenui, to be an item of beauty. In other words, it should be an area of beauty la'ir for the city. That is the city having such an area adds beauty to the city. It isn't just stuck in a place. It has ample room around it, and that adds beauty to the city. The Ein Rishon, Ein Rishaim livnot sham, and they do not have permission to build there, buy it, a house, v'lo into a keren, or to plant a vineyard, v'lo l'Israel's riyah, or to sow seed there. This place has to remain basically pristine, is what we're saying, right? V'hayu ha'arim lahem l'shabbat, and these cities should be for them to dwell. Umigrishehem, and their area around, surrounding area, ilulavihem tam, it can be for their cattle, ulerichusham, and for their property, ulachol chayatam, and for all their living needs. So lachol chayatam, lachol tzarchehem. So it just simply means whatever these, in other words, the cities is where they would live, etc. They had this whole area is defined as their area in which to take care of their needs and to be able to live and to sustain them. And as for these open areas of the cities which you shall give to the Levites, the way you measured it's from the wall of the city and outward, 1,000 cubits around in circumference, right? Or rather, not actually, the circumference wasn't 1,000, but we're really talking about from the point of the edge of the city, the wall of the city outwards, it's 1,000 all around, everywhere. So, got that distance. Elef amasaviv, right? 1,000 cubits around. So, this is from Eruvin, page 21. V'acharav hu omer alpayim bama. But a little later on, he's going to say 2,000 cubits. Ha'ketzad, right? How is this possible? Just said 1,000. What does it mean by saying 2,000? Right. Okay. So he says, he's quoting it. Alpayim hu noten lahem, right? Shall give to them 2,000 cubits. I believe that's a saviv all around. Ume'ah, right? So that's the actual measurement. Ume'ah, and yeah, I think so. Elef, maybe around Hapnimim, Pnimiyim. Okay, so this can't be Ume'ah. Okay. I think it's Umisham from them. I'm gonna have to change this. Okay, let's see if I can do that. See, it's not the correct. Let's see if I can get it correct. Oh, I'm having a, oh my gosh. Okay, I'll have to mess with this later. Okay, Umisham Elef. In other words, there's the first 1,000, and then there's also the second set of 1,000. Okay, so the inner, okay, hapnimiim lemigrash, so that first 1,000 is for this open space, but then 1,000 beyond the sadot ukramim, they can have that for fields and orchards. Oh, sorry, for vineyards. Kramim, Kerem is a vineyard, right? Take a look at what it says. Anything more here? Okay, it's going on. Yeah, we got to go all the way back here. Umadotem michutz la'ir, you shall measure from outside the city et pa'at, the corner, direction Kedma, eastward, Alpayim Ta'ama. So there it is. Right? First said 1,000, and now it says 2,000 cubits. The Et Ba'at Negev Alpayim Ba'ama, and the south side, 2,000 cubits. The Et Ba'at Yam, and the west side, Alpayim Ba'ama. The Et Ba'at Safon, Alpayim Ba'ama, and the northern side, 2,000 cubits. Ha'ir Batavach, and the city should be in the middle of these measurements. Ze Yelahem Migrash, Migrashe Ha'arim. This shall be for them, this open space around the cities. Et ha'arim asher tenula Leviim, right? And as for the cities which you shall give to the Levites, et shesh arei hamiklat, that is to say, there should be 6 cities of refuge, asher titnu, that which you shall apportion, lanus shama harotzach, for the murderer to escape there. For alehem tidnu, and over and above them you shall give arba'im, 40, ushtaim here, 42 cities. Let's see where we are here. Okay, it's a little bit more. V'he'arim asher titnu me'achuzat b'nei Israel, and these cities which you will give from the ancestral holding of the children of Israel, Me'et harav tirbu, and from the large, in other words, a large tribal allotment, you shall give more. In other words, other cities, not just these 6, but to a portion within its cities for the Levites. Me'at ham'et, and from the and those that only have a few cities, little less territory, etc. You should give less, ish kefin nachalato, everyone according to their inheritance, asher yichavui, in which they will in the future inherit. Yitain me'arav lalavim, he should give from his from his cities to the Levites. And this is probably a good place for us to stop today. So I'm going to do that now. What is going on here? I'm not sure. Okay, let's see how this. Oh, okay, let's see what goes on. And if I have to, I will. Interesting. I don't see anything. Okay, let me just stop here. I'm going to stop the share. Okay. Any comments? Harlan, you look like you're trying to get in there. I'll ask you to unmute. Okay, no luck so far. Anybody? Yes. Harlan, you're trying very hard. I'm going to send you a message again. Let me see. Hold on a second. Okay. Click in that. Poorly behaved. I'm so sorry. I cannot unmute it for you.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. You got it. You got it. Done.
Oh, okay, good.
Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering about each one of the tribes, where they on a map. If you can show me where Edom is at and where Judas is at, and so each one had a certain part in Israel on the map.
Yeah. So I don't have a map open right now. I'd have to try and find the map. I mean, they do have maps with the particular areas that each tribe occupied. They do have
Right.
traditions regarding that. Yeah.
You're in Los Angeles?
Yeah, I am. That's the hospital, one of the hospital buildings behind me.
How is he doing now?
Well, I mean, his heart is pretty stable. He, he's still not, he speaks clearly. He just doesn't make a lot of sense. That's all of
Hmm.
it. Yeah. Individuals, and you got to make sense of it. And the individuals have to make sense of it. Yeah. I don't think he's really sure as to why he's there or anything like that. It's not intentional. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's okay. I mean, it just we've been told it can take anywhere from 6 months to a year, and frankly, the most important thing is if we can get him to be closer to us, so we don't have to go to Los Angeles to visit him. Anyway, okay. If you don't have, and hi, David, just give you a shout out there, Dave Brunstein. Me, did you want to say something? You are off mute.
No, I'm just interesting to me that you briefly looked at this material as from a literary standpoint,
Yeah.
which is a little off off the base that you're usually running from. That's all.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I've said so many times that I see it as literature, that I see the
Hmm.
Bible as literature, and that my attempts to understand the Bible are based, on principles of literature.
Okay.
So foreshadowing and having thematic issues, etc.
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
doesn't take it away from the other elements that it may well have.
Right.
The only
Okay.
one that I sort of kick up my feet on is when people want to look at it as historical, and I think that that's holding it up to standards that it doesn't need to hold up to.
I see.
You,
Okay.
you look, you can ask yourself the question, why was the Bible created to begin with? Why do you think the Bible was created? Was it to provide historical documentation for the Jewish people? Was that the purpose? I'm asking you.
Well, you're asking me? No,
Well,
I think it was basically to give a roadmap of observance the people.
Right. I mean, the word Torah means instruction. It means divine
Yes,
instruction.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, I think what happened was they were smart. They were very smart people, and they were very observant people. They weren't distracted the way I think we are at times.
yeah,
And they looked at you look at the world and you see how the world operates according to the rules of nature, if I could use such a term, right? I mean, there's sort of an instinctive way in which every life form, from the smallest bacteria, to a whale, they have patterns of behavior that are built into them. I mean, I've probably mentioned this more than once, but when I look at a seed of a banana, look at the size of that seed and look at the size of a banana plant and all the engineering, so to speak, that a banana plant, sorry, I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing this wrong. A banana plant is, you know, all that information there, or
yeah,
a snapdragon seed, all that information, the colors, the shape, and all the variety of shapes and stuff, I think they understood. And to them, they wanted to know, what is the human being? We have a choice. Yes, we do act. We do have impulses. There's no question that we have impulses, but I think they also saw how a human impulse tends to be self-destructive. And so they will ask themselves, wow, how do we unify ourselves into nature? I don't think any other creature that I'm aware of, okay, sees itself in relationship to nature the way we do. They simply blend into it. They define it. They're part of it. But you know, we can examine it, and we have a lot of choice as to how we want to do it. And do we want to harmonize with our surroundings, or do we want to destroy our surroundings? And I think they understood this, and the Torah is this sort of deep teaching as to how to become at one with our surroundings.
Yeah, you nailed it.
I'm out of here. My wife
Yeah.
is calling. Okay.
all right.
That was
Okay.
a good explanation, Mordecai, and it was right on.
Thank you.
Okay.